All right, well, we have a brand new episode here of Poker Time. It's our Halloween edition. These guys have been playing for about 2 hours so far, and some blood has been spilled, of course.
Because it's Halloween.
That is one of the reasons. Also, Marty's at the table, which means someone will be in pain because Marty plays every hand.
Also, Wheel pretended to bleed earlier.
That's true.
So, you know, all different ways to have blood. Hey, here's Marty limping 5-4 under the gun. If you haven't been watching, this might look surprising to you, but let me assure you, audience, this is completely normal and everything's fine. This is what Marty does. Also, This is what DM5 does.
Yeah, Marty plays. DM5 plays a crazy amount of hands, and Marty just completely destroys him in hand playing percentages. His PIP is way higher because he plays everything. But we see, like, this is amazing. We're 7-handed.
Stewart has ace-8. I mean, that's a reasonable hand, I guess.
I mean, how do you,
blind, and he's flops top pair.
Sure. I mean, how good can you really feel about it? I guess he's gonna. He just has to deny some equity here when there's this many people in the pot.
Marty, of course, calling with bottom pair with 11 billion people behind him. DM5 making a reasonable call with the gut shot there.
Yeah, you'd love to there to be.
Could get paid if he hits.
Love for there to be at least one club on that board, but what are you gonna do?
3 players.
Will Stewart bet again? Nope.
No draws get there on the turn. He could bet again.
DM5 could have bet too once everyone checked to him, but why bet? Why bet when you're gonna get there anyway and have a shot at getting real value? Marty with 2 pair here.
Yeah, Stewart in last place now.
Marty checks his 2 pair. How about that?
Bet 150.
Well, Marty's going to snap call this, of course.
I think he should.
But is Stewart going to call, I guess, is the question. It's not a great run out, but it's not terrible. And it is DM5 and it is Marty, and these guys are super wide. DM5, maybe the bluffiest player we've ever had on Poker Time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, possibly.
But he might be.
Stewart, of course, has to be a little worried about 7-8, but has an 8 in his hand, and I think that's why he's going to ultimately call. And now he gets the really bad news. He sees Marty's calling too, and they can't feel great about that. Oh, Marty doesn't call right away.
No, I mean, this is not a great spot for Marty.
Nope. At least Marty's beating the caller. And Stewart makes the high fold. It's not a high 5.
The high fold.
Yeah, he folds high. You know, some people fold low. Stewart folds high when he's upset, as you see.
A lot of you might be thinking that Rafi there in seat 3 dressed as a banana for Halloween. That is untrue. That is just Rafi's outfit that he wears every day.
Yeah, Rafi.
He enjoys the banana life.
I mean, he also, it's not like a fetish thing. You make it sound like it's a fetish thing. He's.
Look, Jonathan, why are you assigning intention here? How do you know?
Well, his job is bananagrams. I mean, he goes around doing telegrams dressed as a banana. I mean, so I think that's probably at least part of it.
You're telling me there's nobody out there in the world who gets off on their job? You're telling me that?
Well, if anyone does, Rafi's a pretty good candidate.
Yeah, look at that guy.
He loves that. I mean,
Look how excited he is.
This is his leisure time, and he's still in that business suit. He said, Rafi dresses for the job he wants, not the job he has. Marty.
Hey, look at this. Marty's all in. Wheel could call this. It is Marty.
I would call it if I was Wheel because it's Marty. And I have a pair that is. Usually you're flipping at worst. And as we see here, it's way better than that. And it's very reasonable for you to be 70% against Marty here. So
435. Or excuse me,
365.
No, 12480.
I mean, it is $450 more in fairness.
Yeah, but I mean, I think against Marty, you kind of have to make this call. You're just crushing his range.
I mean, we can fold maybe like Queen Jack here and Jack 10 and 9-8 suited and stuff like that. But pocket pairs feel like we're just doing way too well to fold. I agree with you against this range. Like maybe King Queen plus.
Timmer.
Can I pick one, Marty?
Timmer's a different story here. 7-8 suited is a bit too speculative to call even when it's Marty.
Yeah. It's hard to be ahead against Marty here. When Marty shows the 4, Timur may have been ahead in his mind, but he was a dog. A slight dog, but a dog.
Yeah. They didn't want it.
But, I mean, this is part of the whole thing of playing with Marty. You just have to be willing to put chips in the pot when you don't have super strong hands. I mean, that's just part of the deal, you know? Like, pocket 5s is strong enough, especially for half a stack, you know? It's only $500.
Yeah.
50 blinds, Marty, pocket 5s, it's like gold.
Gold like Wonka's tie.
It's not gold.
What is
It's
it?
yellow chocolate.
Obviously, no, it's canary yellow. Obviously, I was throwing you for a loop and you didn't get it right.
Oh,
clearly
easy,
canary yellow.
Easy, young fella. Hold on. How
How is that throwing me for a loop?
all the rest?
45, Marty makes it.
With a monster here, bud.
I say there's no way the rooster folds.
Easy on you. Should we do it now or later? What do you think?
Who?
Now.
Joseph, the rooster.
I want to keep my positional advantage, bud. I'm gonna call.
Joseph does call.
Of course he does.
He's got position. It's Marty.
Because you have to check all your.
I don't know. You can still fold if you want to.
Yeah, you
Marty
could.
doesn't have that many chips. But
He
hey,
flopped.
looks like it was a good idea to call.
Oh my God.
As he flops the flush with the straight flush draw.
Marty flops a pair and a straight draw. I don't know about Joseph just checking that flop so quickly.
Nope. Take it
I
right
think you should
now.
probably be betting that flop. Try and build a
Marty-
pot against Marty.
Pair the board one
Marty
time.
Whoa.
can't get his money in fast
Whoa.
enough on the turn there.
I've never seen that before.
Spades. I'm not sure.
That card went flying.
Well, that's first.
Try to do that
I kind of think Joseph's not going to get another street here unless he bets. Okay, he bets really small.
You got it.
He might get called for 30
Ten
bucks.
value, bud. I think maybe
He might not, though. I mean, it's a pretty bad run out for Marty.
Marty's chopping at best unless Joseph is somehow bluffing for $30 on the river against a guy who is the ultimate station. Seems unlikely he's bluffing.
throw it away. Throw it now.
Right, but he's the ultimate station, so can he help himself?
Hold on.
Well,
What's your kicker?
he's at least thinking about fold. He's thinking. Yeah, there he looks like he's folding. Look at that. He folds. He can help himself.
It's a nice fold. I mean,
Go down in the easy.
it makes sense to
It
fold,
does.
but
Not get in before
a lot of people won't fold for that cheap.
Yeah,
Queen hearts.
that's true.
You ever been up there to?
But I really think Joseph should be betting flop and turn there, not turn and river. You know, I mean, and river of course as well. But I think he's going to get called a lot on flop and turn, and almost never on river. You know, depending on how it comes
Yeah,
out.
I think
but-
the Marty strategy is to put money in when you think you have him beat, because he's certainly going to be putting money in when he has you beat. So you might as well get all the money when you have him beat, which should be more often than he has you beat because he plays a lot of hands.
and he's not, and he's just.
And if you're
Sorry, go ahead. He's just not going to fold much.
if you're not doing that, Marty's actually taking advantage of you
A little bit.
by getting to put money in bluff spots where sometimes you fold, and in spots where he's ahead, and you're not putting the money in when he's not the aggressor, and he has a wider range.
Yeah. I think I would just assume when I've played Marty myself, which I have done numerous times, that if I have a good hand, like he's just not going to fold anyway. So let's just like go.
They're working on a book, and
You know.
they're just keeping the suspense available.
I was actually talking to Wonk about this at one point from a cash game that we both played with Marty, where like at one point I had a flush draw in overs, and I like put in a big raise on the flop and got it all in, and Wonk was saying how it sort of sucks to like be in such a standard spot there, you know, where like it seems good, but you're always getting called, and it's just a flip anyway, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like you want to do better than that if you can against if Marty's just never going to fold anything. Anyway,
Like, I just assumed they screwed it up too.
Meanwhile, Wheel takes one down with middle pair.
Every October that you guys just forgot.
Wonk with a little bit of a cough, but I will let everyone know this actually was filmed right around Halloween, not during the pandemic. This is all pre-pandemic, so that cough is almost certainly not coronavirus.
Every month. It's a little.
Oh, and Wonka's just, I think he's got allergies or something, because I think for the entirety of poker time he's had that cough, and he always seems to find the microphone, that guy. Pretty good at finding the microphone for the cough.
Yeah. He's like an overeager golf ball.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. You know what I mean?
An over-eager golf ball. I don't know if anybody has ever been described in that way before.
I hope that's true. I really hope that's true. It's possible. I'll say that. It's definitely possible. You know, a golf ball that's like a little too excited to find the hole. That's Wonka with his sneezes in the microphone. You guys get me. I love that about y'all.
Very strange
You
thing
all
to say.
get
but
me.
Anyway, Wheel has ace-10 suited, opens to 30. Joseph going to set mine on the button. Also probably continue on some non-set flops, of course.
A little tougher now when
And Wonka gonna make the calls.
yeah,
well.
Wonka being behind Joseph is going to be a little tougher to continue on some of the non-set flops.
It is a non-set flop. It is not a good flop for anybody. Does Wheel keep the initiative
I
here?
mean, Wonka
It's
flops.
a pretty range neutral board.
Yeah, Wonka flops.
You could just c-bet.
Sorry. We're talking all over each other because we're used to being in the same room, and now we're doing this remotely, people. So it's a little harder when you don't have the visual cues. I was just going to say, Wonka actually flops for him pretty well. Like, he actually hit the deuce, which he needed to hit, but not good enough. Hand's over. Best hand wins.
Do you think Wheel should c-bet that board? Queen 8 deuce rainbow as the aggressor?
I think it's really close. I think it's fine to check that board. I think it's super close. I think it's probably not profitable to see that bet that board three ways. What do you think?
I think it's very close as well. Maybe if there was one club, it changes things because then you have two back doors. If there were no clubs, it's just such a range neutral board, and you have the top end range advantage. So I feel like if you're gonna essentially bluff in three-way pot, that's one board that you could choose to without much equity.
The angle here made it look closer than it was. It kind of curved around.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously a lot of flops that are going to just be better, though, for our range than that, which are even better for bluffs. But I hear what you're saying.
Oh, it's definitely two.
Raise to
Two.
50.
It
Fold.
was 2 anyways.
All right, we have the Parade of Limps ended by DM5 because...
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. Marty raised to 50.
Yeah.
Wow. And DM5 called with the 7-5 off
All right, it's
because
gonna happen.
that's how it
Montreal
is.
Expos are winning the World Series.
DM5 values position, and he also values getting both cards, having two cards, so he gets to play both of them.
Yeah, he's used to playing Hold'em with one card, so to him, every hand looks amazing, you know?
Yeah, that's an excellent question.
It's like when you first play Omaha and you're like, I have a flush. I have a great draw here, you know? And it's like, everyone has a great draw, bro. You know, same kind of a thing. Nothing for anybody except Marty, who does have top
Well,
pair.
Marty's got top pair.
Yeah. And he's the initial...
You don't count Marty as a person? You're not counting Marty as a person now?
Marty looks... Whoa, he just shoves. 400 into 205. It's hard to get action from worse hands. Maybe 10-9. 10-9 would do it, and 10-8 would do it.
Maybe diamonds. 2 overs and diamonds.
Yeah.
Wheel's, for some reason, doing something. What is Wheel
I have
doing?
no...
Does he think he has a 4?
No. He thinks it's...
Maybe that fake blood from earlier was real and he's lost a lot of blood and he's just kind of woozy.
I don't know what he thinks he's... This is really going to slow down Marty next time? What is the point of this?
Are you mucking?
This is just... I mean... I'm just saying, like, I could have been doing things with that last 20 seconds that I don't get to now. You know? Everyone could have been doing things.
That's 20 seconds further into the microwaving of your lean cuisine you could have been.
Nice job. Yeah, lean cuisine is right on the button there. You got it right.
Even though he wasn't.
A nice little chicken with vegetables,
Dog coming
little
into the playoffs.
Oh, no,
beef
no,
with stuffing and mashed potatoes.
I looked.
But the lean cuisine version means it's locale.
Why did you say potatoes like that? That
Potatoes?
makes me uncomfortable.
Because that's how they intend you to say it.
20 when the Mariners
The lean cuisine people.
Who's they?
The lean cuisine people.
started 13 and 2.
See, I anticipated your question that time. Yeah.
You mean Sandra McIntyre? You talking
Well,
about her, the head of marketing for lean
Not
cuisine?
just Sandra McIntyre. I think the whole McIntyre family is part of the marketing, even though they're not officially getting paid. They
mean,
you don't think she
Sandra
leans
gets
on?
paid.
She doesn't lean on Aaron and Joseph, her children, and of course her Joseph, her
all right,
husband.
She leans on Aaron a little bit, but Joseph, it's been at least 5 years since she's really run an idea by Joseph, and he's given her a good
See,
response,
that's
right?
exactly the kind of closed-minded thinking that's the problem with this country. Okay, because. Okay, yes, no. Joseph doesn't come out and say something, but by living around her, living his truth, she's inspired in different ways. She's treated to different experiences, and it changes the way lean cuisine. That's what we're talking about, right? Lean cuisine gets marketed, and that's the word
Okay,
potatoes.
Fine, but give me an example of the last time Joseph did anything near as good as Aaron's last suggestion, which was to make the peas greener on the box, which was
That
incredible.
was incredible.
Really made him pop.
It's sort of unfair to say that. That's like saying, give me an example of a building taller than the frickin' What's the tallest building? The one in the the one that Tom Cruise ran up.
The Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, the one he ran up in
Burj Khalifa.
in Mission Impossible 4. Like I can't. Okay, sure. Yeah, you're right. That was the Mozart's Ninth Symphony. Beethoven's ninth, but Mozart had a good ninth one also. Anyway, Rafi's got King Queen on the button here, trying to decide what to do against Marty.
We'll talk about Link.
We really went for that.
Rafi's gonna call Marty.
Just really went for that bit. Yeah, Rafi could just have raised to get it in with Marty with a hand as good as King Queen, but playing a little more safe. But I don't know how safe it's going to be now when Marty says, "I bet and will never fold, no matter what."
I mean, he might fold if he gets raised, but you wouldn't expect him to fold a lot of hands. This is a disappointing flop for King Queen. He does have one diamond, and it looks like he's interested in trying to make a move.
I think he does better to call than to raise against Marty. I could see Marty deciding not to fold to a raise. I know he only has ace high, but it's a drawy type board, and Marty can talk himself into anything. I've seen it. I've seen Marty call off with
Rafi could
way
call.
worse than that. Yeah.
Rafi could also just call because he thinks he's ahead with King Queen. And it could be like a partial float, partial showdown value call.
Maybe if there was a second backdoor besides just the diamonds, Rafi would have been a little bit more inclined to call.
It's fun. If I make money, it's good. It's not fun.
It's just a pain to get there.
No, I know.
We are back, and we're back with Marty. Marty time.
Oh man, I really want Marty to have a morning show now. Just him sipping coffee, like kind of surprised that the camera's like, "Oh, hello friends, you're back with Marty."
It's Marty in the morning. You can have
Today
like
we're talking table saws.
table saws, and we've got one of the foremost table saw experts in the world here. We're very excited to have him. It's Briff Caberly. Briff, thanks for being on the show.
What? What's his name?
Hey, it's Wheel versus Wonka in the battle of Ace-4 suited against King 10. And a whole lot of hearts. It's good for Wheel.
Looks like Wonka's gonna c-bet though.
Yep. Heads up, it makes sense.
Bet.
Wonka has, of course, two back doors as well as his over.
Kinda curious to see if
Card.
it'll be a particular
Wheel's like,
field or not.
eat some of that.
A couple days
110.
before.
Wheel's been watching a lot of Danny Negreanu videos.
Because it's a couple days before,
I definitely like raising here as Wheel. I think that's a good thing to do against Wonka, who's gonna have a fair amount of c-bets without too much equity there. You want to deny equity, build a pot, and just make it easier on yourself to play future streets.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Wonka's betting hands like pocket eights there? He might be, right?
I think he probably is doing a mostly equity denial bet with pocket eights.
Yeah. So if he's doing that, is he going to call a raise from Wheel with pocket eights? I don't know that he is. I think he's probably folding. So we can get him to fold a hand like pocket eights and King 10, and that's like really good.
So you might get a bad table, you might get one with three.
So yeah, I like the raise too.
Oh,
God, just lesser player.
Get some stupid low ERA when you're doing
But I won some.
Oh, whoever was controlling the video was sure DM5 was going to fold the Jack 6 suited under the gun, but DM5 has proven them wrong.
Which intern is in charge of the cards this time? I can't even tell from here.
I stopped learning their names about a year ago.
Yeah. It's the one with the hair,
So
right?
we don't have the action here, but DM5 did limp with Jack 6 suited, and Wonka has Ace King and has raised to $50.
Oh,
Does
There it
DM5
is.
already get rid of his cards?
good thing that it's during the holiday.
Yeah, he folded. He just folded. So he limp folded Jack 5 suited.
Yeah, so you will get, yeah.
It was Jack 6. Show some respect.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
Gibson for a stretch. He was even more dominant.
DM5 is way too tight to play Jack 5 suited.
Couple years there.
+1 with Wonka on his left. Oh, Marty reaching over into Joseph Stack. Not something you see players do very often.
You got to be pretty friendly with your neighbor to do that and not have it be trouble. And some casinos will even have issue with it if you're friendly as hell.
Yeah.
They just won't let you do it.
Yeah.
You know, if
One time I was playing at Foxwoods many years ago. I think I was playing 1-2 about 14 years ago at
Raise
Foxwoods.
35.
And I was very friendly with this couple who was 2 seats away from me. And the guy got up to go to the bathroom or something, and he was gone. And I had like a $25 chip, but wanted red chips. And the guy had a bunch of red chips, so I dropped my $25 chip on his stack and said, "I'm making change," and picked up his 5 reds and put them on my stack. And everyone looked at me like I had just punched somebody, you know. And I was like, "Oh, is that wrong?" I didn't know at that point. You couldn't just do that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, DM5 flops a gut shot, and I think this is probably over unless Wonka has nefarious intent.
Yeah, I agree.
100%, yeah.
A lot of what?
Rake.
That's one of the reasons
Or
I
like-
don't play it.
yeah.
because,
Like if they're, I don't know,
And
they're
Wonka
in
does
your
let it go.
easily get to them, it's nice,
Right.
but like,
Yeah, no, it's,
And
I'm
gives
not
a nice little pop
Nice
as
to
well.
be able to get around it, but if it's convenient,
Yeah.
it's different.
Wonka looks so cherubic, doesn't he?
Cashed in my
Yes.
the first 2 bracelet of
Like a little babe who you dress up and take photos of.
This year? Was last
Like,
summer?
you know, for family photos.
Okay.
Send out on Christmas cards and stuff. Like, if Wonka was like an infant, he could
I
look
thought
just the way he
was
looks right
cool.
now,
It was
basically.
cool, yeah.
You know?
What was the bigger of the 2 numbers?
I think Wonka did look this way when he was an infant, and this is how Wonka will look when he is 90, which he might be 90, by the way.
And I won the table.
Wonka's one of those people, he could be 7
And then
and
my
he could be
second
90.
Anybody there?
It's exciting.
Joseph.
No, it's
Joseph.
not, it's not easy to do. There's some tough
No, my
I
second
understand.
my second table, I had Eric Seidel to my left.
Everyone's playing pretty tight, dropping the queen deuce, the king 9 off.
Quinn, the
Timur picks up a monster,
35.
opens.
Qui win.
Marty's
yeah,
going
yeah.
to defend his button with the 8-3 suited.
Isn't that cool?
Once again, our intern did not, couldn't imagine that Marty would actually call there and auto-folded Marty, but no.
You just called this table tight, and it includes Marty and DM5.
No.
We win.
Yeah.
We're trying something here. All right, well, sort
Hey,
of a
Marty
cooler
flops
flop.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet 60.
Yeah, Marty just moves it in,
Marty's
and
just
there's,
going to move it in.
there's no folding if you're Timur against Marty in this spot. This is an auto call.
It's a big shove, but it is an auto call against Marty. But it is a big shove, and Timur does not like the size of it.
No, of course he doesn't. But like Marty's never. If Marty had a set of 4s, he would never just move in here for 620 over a $60 bet. In a million years, he wouldn't do it. I believe.
What a table.
He would
What do you
raise.
think he would do, like mid-race?
Yeah, you know,
Huge
whatever. A,
mid-raise?
a normal size raise. You know, you made it 60, he makes it 150 or something. You know, Timur
Oh,
folds.
and Timur folds.
Wow.
I feel like he needs a more Marty-specific plan for that spot. He was playing everybody else. He
Yeah.
should be playing Marty.
I agree.
Tournament.
I felt your spade coming on the
And I
ground.
won the shootout tournament.
I
Straight
really
away.
did.
There.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Timur sometimes exercises caution, and it really works for him. But I agree with you. You got to have a plan against Marty, and the plan is I made top pair, I never fold to you, especially when you don't have $4,000 in front of you. You know, you have $600.
Structure.
4,000, maybe you could talk yourself into a fold if you really want to. You know, that's fine.
I
But
think so.
that feels really different.
Yeah, that one was interesting.
He's a cool guy.
Because they were both thoughtful, but neither seemed like killers.
I mean, basically, Marty shoving could happen at any time, and if you're not thinking about that, you're not planning enough.
All the final table dealers
think.
this year raised to 35 to sushi. This year, like,
Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool.
yeah. Like, really nice. Like, we didn't order anything. You folded, right?
I
Joseph?
did fold, yes.
Like,
Oh, there's 2 outs.
unlimited sushi.
DM5 calls more than somebody in a halfway house.
What?
Oh, wow. Sure.
Just trying some new material out. Hey, this is sort of a cooler flop. Top pair versus bottom 2, backdoor flush draw, and
Into,
not really a straight draw for Stewart, but
and he was
backdoor
telling
flush draw
us
for
all
Stewart
the
as well.
good restaurants in Vegas to go to, and it was really.
So I think DM5 should just start raising right away. It looks like he agrees.
Raised 125.
He's got such a rep.
Is there an out yet?
Yeah, I don't think you can fold this Stewart.
No
I'll give you
way.
100 to 1 on that.
I think the plan is don't fold and let him just fire away and hope the board doesn't get funky.
I mean, I just always see
Right?
him when I'm in the series. He's always there. You know, that guy was.
Well, that's funky.
Got a little
Not daily
funky.
deep stack, it's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Yeah, that's funky.
Will DM5
Nobody
bet
likes
though?
that card.
Yeah, DM5 is still reaching. Sort of a blocking bet though now, just 125 into 330.
2 outs, 2 outs, 2 strikes now.
No one on base.
Yeah,
It's hard to think of things you're beating other than just pure air at this point as Stewart.
You wouldn't really think if he had pure air, he would bet this little either. You know, after check raising
Yeah.
the flop, like he'd bomb it a lot of the time, or at least a normal size bet. This is a small bet. This is a blocker bet, clearly.
That must be kind of weird for fans.
Stewart still has 22%, and he just thinks he cannot fold against DM5.
Don't get me wrong, they already put on SportsCenter.
This is making huge history,
And
too.
it runs out clean. I doubt DM5 will bet again.
Check.
And he does check.
No, he checks quickly.
Check.
Stewart's going to get the bad news.
Good.
Yeah, they never did it as the Expos. Either.
And there's the high fold.
I mean, for
Stylish, but
I've
high.
heard that his team has won on
You
the
know?
road.
Too high.
Stewart is kind of the master of the silent scream.
That was the
Yeah.
Expos
Right.
guy?
Tim Raines and
He really is.
Lionel the Shields.
You know what locked-in syndrome is? I think that's what it's called, where you like just basically can't move, but you
El Presidente
you're able to
played for
think of
them. I don't
everything.
know
The
if
diving bell and the butterfly, that movie was all about the guy who had that happen. Stewart's like, as if he had locked-in syndrome, was sitting on the beach and watching a shark just kill his, family and friends in the water, and he can't move or do anything, but inside he's anguishing. That's what it's like. watching
Except
him
that he
play.
just lost $400 in a poker hand, and it's a little different.
Yeah, it wasn't even 400. It was a little less. So it was 125 on the flop, 125 on the turn. Like a solid, like
Yeah.
a little less, like 280 in total.
Raise
He did. He was
25.
one of
Yeah,
those
but same kind of a thing.
Got him.
Besides
guys on
that,
the edge.
Got him.
Oh, Nationals! Woo-hoo-hoo.
baseball is being played.
Call.
Sorry, Tarlo.
Pre-pandemic baseball.
That's right. The
Wow.
Nationals were
That's
playing.
huge.
By the time this comes out, Major League Baseball may be completely canceled, though. we're recording this on
We're not
what,
sure.
the Wednesday before this is actually being released, so it's a solid 6 days away, and baseball's in trouble. We'll see what happens.
That's 75 K.
Marty with the best of it so far.
And some bookie won like a $5 million bet.
I mean, it's
Heads up.
crazy.
Nothing for DM5 that
Did another
time.
furniture guy win? I don't know.
No,
Check.
he lost his bet.
Good card for Marty. He
Trips for Marty.
I expect if he bets, oh, he checks. And somehow DM5 is betting for value. This is
Wow.
incredible.
What is he doing?
Yeah, I read-
He's trying to
I
get
read
called
an
by a
article.
worse
$30.
score.
He went through all the-
He's trying to get
all
called
the
by a
shows
worse
in
score,
Vegas
55.
and was
Oh, I
trying
bet
to get,
55.
He thinks Marty would have bet a 9 on the turn and a 7 on the river. It's not crazy.
55.
But then Marty does that, and how can he get called?
Call.
I assume he didn't.
Oh, he does get called. DM5 called.
Are we sure?
Yeah,
That's it.
pretty sure I heard call. And look, he's counting
Oh
out the call.
my
I mean,
gosh!
that's,
I can't believe that
improbable.
worked.
It was
Well,
a while
DM5 had
ago,
a plan 'cause
2
he
months
called
ago
so
or something when
quickly.
I read the, on the article, but yeah.
He bet so.
That
I,
is
'Cause he
wow.
had-
I guess in his mind he bet small and he
got
was
like
inducing.
He got like a representative on his behalf.
He had a
to
plan for
contact
Marty,
the
and it
books.
just turned out real
A lot
bad
of the
that
books didn't
time.
want to take action
I mean,
because
there are
Houston
times
was
when it's
had
going to
his
turn out
favorite all
bad,
year.
but it's weird to call the check raise on the river when you have
They didn't wanna,
effectively bottom pair
open
only.
themselves up for too much.
Like that
liability.
seems a weird time. Like Marty doesn't take that line usually with as bluffs. He just keeps firing away usually, right? Like he doesn't do like weird check raises.
Pretty
I mean,
exciting.
once in a while, I guess, but not very often. I think. Man,
Juan Soto.
Yeah. That was funny when he.
That is a lot more value than I expected Marty to get there.
birthday on
the only way I could have imagined Marty would get real value is to just fire on all 3 streets in DM5 not to
You were a
believe him.
lot
But
better hitter
check
when you
raising
were
all
young.
in and getting snap called, that was even better. Marty all the way up to 1.6K now. He wins it. Wow, he wins $800 off DM5 in that last hand. That is remarkable. DM5, who usually has a really good sense of where he is post flop too, but not that time.
Call. Option.
Watch this big blind move.
Wheel shows no heart at all by just checking.
Extremely disappointing, yes.
2 hearts.
Sure.
That means Wonka's got the nut flush draw. And
Go ahead
does
and
anyone else
Marty's
have
got
anything?
bottom pair and somehow 32% 5 ways with bottom pair. That's hard to do.
The only guy with a pair, even though we were 5 ways. That's weird.
Call. Fold.
Be interesting to see if Marty plays any differently now that he actually has a little bit of a stack in front of him.
Yeah, that's good.
What a card for Wonka.
Seems appropriate right now.
And Marty knows that's a very bad card for him in multiple ways.
I think Wonka should bet this. Maybe against some players he should check, but I think this is a bet against
What's
Marty.
interesting, It was 8 hits for the Astros, 1 for the
Bet 55.
Nationals at one point. They
Yeah.
ended up with 9 hits each.
Marty calls right away. Yep. There's value to be had.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad for Wonka. It's going to be hard to get value now. Wonka may not even bet it.
I don't expect him to bet it. No, I don't see how you can expect to get value even from Marty in this
Yeah.
spot.
The Red Sox beat the Yankees. It's just
There's
magic.
so many cards where Wonka could have been able to bet for value, and I think can get called, but that ain't one of them.
Oh my gosh.
You weren't going anywhere.
It's gonna be hard to get rid of me.
I just feel like I should have a mount.
Do you think Wonka has something inside that hat besides his head?
Oh yeah.
What do you?
I mean, I've been trying to figure out what it is for a while now.
Oh yeah. Well, the size helps. You can eliminate a lot of things because a lot of things wouldn't fit in the hat. You know, like
What are you mumbling
so
about
it's like
over there,
not
Motown.
Labrador or something like that. Like it's not one.
Right.
It's not like a chair. So that's helpful.
I'm thinking maybe it's something malleable so that like if he wants it to be some sort of toys that he can have
tried
fun
to
with,
double
he
you,
can
but
make
it
it into
wouldn't
different
allow
types of toys, like maybe silly putty or Play-Doh. So it can just be in like the shape of a hat, but he can take it out anytime and turn it into a different toy.
What if it was just like a block of wood?
Oh, man, we could've
Then he could do it. Then he could turn it into a toy. Right?
Does he also have a knife
Well,
or a saw?
there's different ways he could go. One way would certainly be to use a knife or a saw. Another way would just be to use his imagination. You know,
That's what- I guess that's.
probably-
I guess that
it could be.
age, right?
It's like
that tracks.
I don't have to.
I guess that's
you know,
canon.
I haven't decided yet.
I don't have to, whittle this down into a race car. It's a race car already with my mind. I'm pretending. Marty wins with bottom pair, but it was the best hand.
Did you flop it?
Halloween.
Yeah, so we're gonna do who wins in a fight now, okay, with some of these different players. Okay, you
No,
ready?
we're not.
Why not?
No, I don't want to insult anybody.
It won't be insulting. You'll see. Stuart against Timmer. Who wins in a fight?
Timmer.
Nothing wrong
Yeah,
with
see,
that.
it was easy, right? You're not insulting at Stuart by saying Timmer wins, right? Stuart against the banana.
I know. Sure you would.
Is he wearing the banana?
Of course he's wearing the banana.
Give it to an old guy.
Then I give the banana the edge because I think he'll do stuff
You should be,
related to the banana that
should
will
wear that
creep
suit.
Stuart out,
Yeah.
and Stuart will not be able to fight back.
Agreed.
Anything bad for your car or your
Stuart
house.
versus Joseph.
Are you just trying to do a thing where Stuart loses every fight?
I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm just asking you. You've yet to say anyone could beat Stuart, so I'm just trying different people to see if
I
anyone
mean,
can beat him.
I feel like Joseph's probably the #1 seed, so it's,
He's got reach that no one else at the table has. That's for sure. Okay, let me ask you differently. Would Stuart be a favorite against anyone at the table?
Could've been 4.
maybe.
You actually have
Who's the number 8 seed? Because there's 8 players.
You have to pick. You pick the 8th seed. I'm not doing this. I'll pick the 1 seed. You pick the 8th seed.
All right, Stuart's the 8 seed. Stuart gets his ass kicked by everybody at the table. Look at that scrawny dude. He's gonna get beat up. Just beat up. Dude, by the way, for those of you who think I'm picking on Stuart, Wonka has tried multiple times to get me and Stuart to fight and wanted to bet on it, and everyone, Stuart included, thought Stuart would win. Except for me. I really believe I would beat him, but no one else in the world seems to think I could beat Stuart in a fight. So, just to give a little more context to what's happening here when I say Stuart's the number 8
So you're the
seed.
#9 seed if you include you.
If anyone but me doing the seating, apparently, well, I don't know. Would you put me number 9?
What does that mean?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't. What is this maybe stuff?
I don't want to be insulting.
I think I can read between the lines when you say maybe, though, and I think so can everyone else.
You can.
It's pretty
I don't
obvious
think
what
you
you're
can
really
because
saying.
I don't only think you're weak. I also think you're stupid. So I don't think you can.
So once again, no one really has anything. Although Marty has King 4 and is not folding. Wait, is he raising? He's raising.
Spreadsheets, but you like candy.
This is probably gonna work.
He's in the big blind. You know, this is supposed to hit him more than anybody else.
I'm most likely.
I think this should work. I don't see how Rafi can reasonably continue with this hand.
You ever do that?
Nice job by Marty, recognizing a range advantage there.
Yeah.
And then the ice cube would melt, and then all this candy would fall out of the bag, and then you'd
Rafi got owned.
The spirit of Halloween.
Okay, wheel
It's old school.
versus Wonka.
Back in the shaving cream and toilet paper days.
I give the slight edge to Wheel because I think he's got more crazy in him.
Huh. He probably does have more crazy. Wonka's like got some heft to him though, you know. I feel like when he lands a punch, it would hurt. Like
Well,
a
kick
lot.
for sure. If you've seen that guy's calves, he's
They're-
got massive calves.
Well, that's why I'm saying the heft is part of it. Like you punch from your legs, right? You know what they say?
Back then, your mama would.
Anyway,
Everybody says that.
yeah. This all started because we were wondering what was under Wonka's hat, by the way, and somehow we ended up in you deciding to say that Stuart was the number 8 seed, and if everyone was going to fight, which I thought was
Yeah, somehow we ended up because you
Insulting,
started
but-
just like goading everybody into fight scenarios.
I've been locked in an apartment for a solid 5 months, and this is all I have left. I see people in a room, and I'm like, I need them to fight each other to the death.
That's all. That's what you have left. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we got a flesh draw for Joseph. We have a gut shot for DM5, and we got a pair for Marty. Everyone with something. And the two guys who have the least sort of playable hands are the guys who fold the least, as we see. They both have already put chips in. Joseph with the easy call. I'm feeling like a 3 on the turn to give Joseph a gut shot. Oh, well. I was wrong.
You were wrong.
But it would have been fun.
Check, check.
Can DM5 really check 3 high? Nope.
Nope.
That's 75.
And
Marty's not going anywhere.
gets rid of the flush draw, though, which is pretty great for DM5. But he's still going to have to bluff the hell out of this river.
This is not a river that feels good to bluff on.
Nope. Like, you figure you can't get a king to fold, can't get an ace to fold. Maybe. I don't know if Marty's going to fold a 10 either. I'd be really concerned about all those things.
If it gets flooded.
Marty thinks for a really long time he really doesn't want DM5 to bet. DM5 goes for it.
Bet one
Can
time.
Marty
Small
reasonably
bet,
call?
about a third. It looks like he's going to.
Wow. Well, okay, he's thinking about it. Oh, there it is, DM5. There's no bluffing this man. He's like, oh, you have anything? Oh, okay, I lose. He actually, DM5 with the nut low, that was good. He made it, like, waited to see what Marty had. He's like, oh, okay. That wins.
Yeah, obviously.
I was value
Yeah,
betting.
because I had queen 9.
Yeah.
Like, I
Trying to get called by queen 8, you know.
yeah. Sure.
Trying to get you off a chop with a queen high chop with me, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fair. It's a fair thing to do, but it is funny when Marty turns over basically the worst hand he could ever call with, and you still have to look at him and be like, that's good, yeah, now that I see that.
I never doubted that, bud.
Wonka with a straddle.
Looks like we got a straddle.
Yeah, it's not an actual straddle.
On this episode.
It's, of course, a blind raise. It's not allowed. It's not live. It's a dead straddle.
Oh, but for another 10, right?
Fold.
I mean, if my hand adds up to 13, I can't fold 15.
It's gonna be 5 more. No, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, it's calling it straddle may confuse
Oh.
people.
35. Raise 35.
What?
Looks like Wheel raised it $15. I think he may have not realized that Wonka's put in the blind raise.
I think you're probably right. Well,
Call. Fold.
you got people cold calling that 35 anyway, including ace deuce off and DM5. I was gonna say he can't find a call with 7 deuce, but I'm wrong. He calls the raise with 7 deuce off.
5 pairs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an outrageous thing that just happened. Okay, clubs for Wheel.
Sure.
Gut shot for Stuart.
This is the first session, by the way, that things haven't just gone DM5's way, where we've had DM5, I feel.
I mean, DM5 makes a lot of things work, but the hubris to call with 7 deuce
Yeah.
is really something. 7 deuce off.
And that's how we're going to leave you, by the way, because this is the last hand, and it looks like Wheel's just going to take it down.
Fold.
We'll see you
Indeed.
guys next week for some more Halloween action.
Halloween.